I'm going to talk about Google Forms today and give a little lesson over what we have learned. So, in order to create a Google form, which is also like a survey, or you can even make it a quiz, which we will talk about later, you will go to your Google Drive and hit the blue New button in the top left corner of the screen, the same button that you hit when you want to make a new document or a new slideshow. So you hit the button there, and then you will go all the way down until you see the more, and it will give you a few more options there, and we will click on Google Forms, which has the little purple icon next to it. And so then really soon a new little form will pop up, and we can title it right away so we always know what we're working on in case we have multiple different forms up and are working on different things at the same time. So it's best to title it then. You can hit the title in the top left corner of the screen, or the title more so in the middle of your screen, which is much bigger. And we will just title this one midterm. And then once you change that one, you can just hit the top one up there, and that will change as well. And so now we have our new document and a new title screen up. Of course, right away, you'll notice the buttons on the top of the screen here. The first one on the right side here is our color palette, which makes sense because it's a little paintbrush palette here. If you click on it, you will see the different colors that you can have on your screen. I'm a big fan of purple and pink, so I would choose those, but you can really choose any color that you want. Here in the bottom right side of this color palette, there's one that looks kind of like has a landscape picture on there, and we can click that and it'll bring us more themes that we can change to the background. A lot of it's pictures or something a little bit more exciting and more fun. There's work and school theme, there's an illustrator's theme, a birthday theme, food and dining, party, just kids, wedding, night out, sports and games, travel, and other. You can also upload a photo or go to your albums and make a very unique one. All of these are really, really cool. It's nice to have some time to look through those, but maybe if you're just doing a simple survey or a simple quiz, you can just go with a color and keep it simple so the kids aren't distracted by what's going on at the top here. I will change mine to pink so we got a little variety going on. Now if we move over to our next button, which is the I, it is our preview button. So once we actually do make some questions on the quiz and get that going, you will be able to click on that button and you can see what the viewers of this document will actually see. Or you can see exactly, what your students are going to be seeing, which is really nice to be able to have those different viewing options. You can click out of it right away, or you can just keep it up, but remember you have to go back to your other tab there so that you can continue editing and working on your form. And then if you make some changes on the document and go back to this tab, that is just fine, but just keep in mind you're going to have to click the refresh button because it might not update automatically. So we all know how that goes. So just make sure you hit the refresh button if you're not seeing everything, because 9 times out of 10, that's probably why it's not showing up. Moving on to our settings button, which is the button to the right of our preview button. It is the little gear, which is the settings button for most of Google. We have general settings, presentation settings, and quizzes settings. So to start with the general settings, we have different options here. We can collect email addresses, which is really nice if you're going to be having a class do this form or fill it out or something of that sort, because it is very important to remember that this is an anonymous form. So when it gets sent back to you, you will be able to see everything and all of the answers, but you will not know who sent it unless you either collect email addresses or make a question on the form that says, please type your email address. So if we click on that, we also have the button response receipts that come up. And, you might want to have the respondents receive a copy of the response. So, just so those students know, okay, my teacher received this, or maybe not students, maybe you're sending this to coworkers or other teachers or parents or anybody. They will just have a receipt that you got it, which is sometimes nice to know. You can limit people to one response. Respondents will have to sign into Google, and they can only reply once. Once they've done it, Google will not let them reply again because it has seen that they have already done it, which is very nice. Most of the time, I know you will just want one response, but there will be times, maybe say you can submit this as many times as you'd like. So that's just another thing to remember. And a lot of times, if it is a quiz or a survey for anybody, they will only fill it out once and they won't think about trying to redo it. But it's just nice to have that option, nice to know it's there, and just remember it's there. So I'll just click these off for now. Our next little section here is under respondents, and it says edit after submit. So will you allow them to go back in and edit? Maybe they got off the survey or got off the form and decided they didn't add something, so they want to go back and edit it. A lot of times, if it is just a survey or just a form that you want them to fill out, that would be just fine. But a quiz, you might want to make sure that button is not checked, because you don't want students looking up the answer, coming back and changing their answers. So that's another one to remember that it's there, and remember when you actually want to use that. And then our final one is see summary chart and text response. And this is really helpful when you are looking at the final copies of everyone's responses and you want to compare them, or you just want to look at a certain someone's, or you want to look at all of them together. It's important to see that you check this box so you'll be able to see those and keep those in mind as you're, reviewing and looking over everybody's responses. So onto the presentation settings, we can show our progress bar, which will allow the viewers or the quiz takers or survey takers to see how far they've gone. Like, I've answered 1 out of 10 questions or 3 out of 50 questions. So just so they know, because there might be multiple pages and they don't want to go all the way to the last page just to see. It's just something for them. Maybe some students or individuals would find it a distraction. Maybe you find it a distraction, so you don't want to add it to anybody's. But regardless, another button that's there. Shuffle question order might be really good for a quiz in case 2 students are sitting right next to each other and it's like, oh, let's help each other with this quiz. It is nice that the question order will not be the same for everybody, or it would be different each time you go in if you could go into the quiz multiple times. So that's another button that's nice to know that's there. Show link to submit another response. So the link will be there at the end of the response so students can go back and submit another response if they really want to. Sometimes this is useful, sometimes it's not. It all just depends what happens. Confirmation message is our next thing we have here, and here it says your response has been recorded. That's what shows up. We made a quiz in class, and when we were finished with most of them and sent them back to the person who sent it out, we got this message that said your response has been recorded. So that is nice. If you want to add a more personal message, or you want to say thank you, or you want to say something like, Miss Scheidel thanks you for your response, that works too. Just whatever you want, and just so the students know that you have seen it, you've received it, and everything's good.